Hey guys, Willie Mayette. I'm ready for the beach. I got my shades on, I got my shorts, I got my black JAZZEDGE t-shirt, which is going to be perfect in the sun. So anyway, in case you don't know who I am, I'm the creator of Pianoed Willie and many other sites. Today I'm talking to you about Summer Piano Jam. I've taught thousands of students, recorded a bunch of albums, and written a bunch of books and toured and all that good stuff. All right, so let's talk about Summer Piano Jam, and specifically we're going to be talking about improvisation. I'm going to be doing a bunch of videos here for you over the next few days, which is not only going to tell you what you're going to get in Summer Piano Jam, but I want to give you some actual helpful stuff that, you know what, even if you don't join me in Summer Piano Jam, you'll still have something that you could practice. All right, so let's get started. The first thing to note is that improvisation can be learned. It's not some kind of voodoo magic. A lot of times students think, how do you sit down and just come up with something on the spot? Like, if I want to... So if I want to just sit down and play, there are certain progressions, chords, rhythms, all of that stuff that you can learn, and you start to put this stuff together. Right? And that's what we're going to be talking about at Summer Piano Jam, is how to do that in kind of like that blues style, work on that improvisation. All right, so let's talk about some real world stuff that you can actually utilize. So this is right from the beginner section of Summer Piano Jam. Right? And here what we're talking about is how we can start to use two-handed chords. Right? So in the left hand, I'm working through a chord shell. Okay, and that's just basically an outline of the chord. In the right hand, I have my full C7 chord. Right? I can use my pinky or fourth finger. Sometimes I find it more comfortable to use my fourth finger up there because I got really big hands. All right, but you can use your pinky as well. All right, so this C7 chord is my C dominant 7th chord, C, E, G, B flat, right? Root 3, 5, flatted 7th, okay? So to make my chord shell, typically a chord shell is either going to be the root in the 7th or the root and the 3rd, all right? So here, with my C7 chord, that's my root, my 3rd, my 5th, and my 7th of the chord. So if I play the root and the 7th, I can play it right down here on my left hand. Now, I could play just that chord shell down here, my root 7 chord shell on the left hand, and I don't have to do anything else. I can just play that root 7 chord shell and then improvise in the right hand. And we talk about that improvisation stuff in Summer Piano Jam, and I'll talk about it a little bit later in some of these other videos as well. So be sure to subscribe to the channel, and also be sure to come back for the next few days to check out all these new videos, because I don't know how long they're going to stay online, all right? So anyway, that's my root 7 chord shell, okay? C and B flat. So what we can also do is we can combine that chord shell along with my 7th chord in the right hand. Now, when I do that, you see that I get a nice, big, full two-handed chord. Because one question students typically have is, well, if I'm going to play a C7 chord, right, well, what do I do in my right hand? So what you're going to do is you're going to move that big, full chord here, that 4-note chord, to the right hand. Why? Because down here, it starts to sound a little bit muddy. But up here, it sounds good, right? So now if you move that chord to the right hand, well, now what do you do in the left hand? We can do octaves, right? But that's a little too bass heavy right there to do those octaves. And especially if you're working with a bass player, that might be getting in their way, right? So instead, we do these chord shells. So here, this is a root 7 chord shell for C7, and then I go to a root 3 chord shell for F7, right? So there's my C7 chord, and when I go to the F7 chord, I just move into an inversion of that F7 chord, which basically means I'm taking that F7 chord and I am moving the notes around. Still the same notes, just in a different position. See how on this one, I take the E flat and put it down there. See, I take the C, put it down there. So this is what we call our root position, first inversion, second inversion, third inversion. So we're going to go to a second inversion F dominant 7th chord. Root position C7 chord to a second inversion F dominant 7th chord. Notice the C note stays the same, right? That's what we call our common tone. Now I'm not going to hold it down like that when I play it. I'm just doing that just so you could see it. Typically I play C7, and then lift up all the notes. Left hand, C7, root 7 for C7, so C and B flat, and then root 3 for F7, that's F and A. So now what I want you to try doing is just try playing that with me. And you see one rhythm that we have here. We could do this. So put that play along track on, and we're just going to try practicing that rhythm. Ready, go. Now, do you have to stay with that root position C7 chord? Absolutely not. You can move that into, say, second inversion C7 chord, and then go to a root position F7 chord. See that common tone stays the same again, right? So, and you get this. Do I have to stay with root 7 down there? No, I could go to root 3, then to root 7. Now let's talk about this. See how I can hold those two notes down there in the middle, right? Sometimes I just kind of hold one, but the idea is I hold those notes down in the middle. It makes it a little bit easier for me to support my hand while I'm doing this tremolo here. But that's a real cool sound. Sounds good too when you put the pedal on. So you see like the pedal right up there. You see it's trying to point to it here. So you see how that pedal is orange? That means I'm holding it down. And I lift it up just when I get to the next chord. Otherwise it's going to sound like this. It's going to ring together. It's going to be a cacophony, all right? But listen to that sound. Back to the original. Other question you might have is you might say, hey, wait a minute, like, sometimes you're playing this short, sometimes you hold it out. Yeah, you can do whatever, you can play it short, you can hold it out, completely up to you. Comping chords, when you add rhythm to your chords like that, right? Comping chords is, it's an improvisation kind of on its own, right? You could do whatever it is that you want. So try messing around with some different rhythms, right? And make sure you have fun with it. So just start with those two chords, C7 to F7. If you're part of Summer Piano Jam, download that backing track. It comes with the lesson, so you could practice along with that bass and drum track. It's a great way of making sure that you really get it down. And those backing tracks come in multiple different tempos, right, or tempi, right, so that you can practice slow or a little bit faster, right? So remember, too, you can slow down all the videos on Summer Piano Jam. There's a bunch of quizzes. There's a certificate that you can earn as well. So some really, really cool stuff. Make sure that you go back to summerpianojam.com and take a look. Running a special right now that's going to be ending very soon. And then all of these videos that I'm placing here online, I'm also going to make sure that they are available for all of my Summer Piano Jam members as well. So kind of like an extra little bonus. So anyway, leave your comments below. Look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I will see you soon.